Alright, so today we are finally working on the S14. It's just been sitting in my garage for the past few months. Pretty sure the battery's dead. This thing is not cranking. Nonetheless, what I got planned is hub conversions. Currently 4 lugs. I'm going to be swapping over to the 5 lugs so I can fit these wheels that I got. Down here are the products that I'm going to be using. First, we got a pair of OEM Nissan front hubs, some ISR rear hubs. Got a pair of GK Tech spacers. They're 10 mils. I hope that's enough to clear the Z32 calipers. Since I'm running the 10 mil spacers, might as well run the extended studs to play safe. Got some lug nuts and some centric hub adapters so I can run the wheels that I bought. Also, since I gotta take off the current brakes to access the hubs, I thought might as well put in some new pads and rotors since I'm not sure when that was done since this car has left Japan. Now, from all the tutorials that I watched, they all look pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So yeah, let's get into it. With the car jacked up, the front is fairly simple. All you gotta do is remove the wheel, the calipers, and the rotors. Once that's out, you're gonna have access to the hub. The hub is going to have a dust cover. All you have to do is hammer it out with some sort of flathead. Once you hammer the dust cover off, you're gonna see the hub nut. It's a 32 mil. You're gonna crack that loose and the hub should slide right out. All right, first I'm going to remove the pads. So the caliper is held on by 2 bolts. It's a 19 mil down here and another bolt up here. Don't forget to get this retainer clip. All right, with the hub off, what I'm going to do next is spray some brake cleaner on this, make sure it's clean, and then simply reverse everything. And yeah, that was it. So the hubs are on, but I am going to be running 10 mil spacers. Now I'm gonna knock out these studs and install the new extended studs. Yeah, I do have some ISR extended studs. They're 70 mils long. So I bought one of these to help with installing the studs. I've heard these tend to break. About 2 just in case. We're just gonna slide the stuff in. Definitely much longer than before. All right, the recommended torque specs range from 150 to 210 foot-pounds, I believe. I'm going to be using 202. let's torque the caliper bolts to 70 foot-pounds. That wasn't too bad. First, we're gonna remove the cotter pin and then remove the 36mm nut. We're gonna move over to the caliper side, remove the 14mm that hold the caliper and the pads, and then remove the 17mm that holds the bracket in place. Once that's removed, we're gonna set the caliper on the control arm. Alright, so I didn't have this problem on the other side, but the 4 bolts holding in the hub weren't budging. So what I did was I removed 1, 2, 3 bolts that connect those 3 arms to the knuckle. Forgot to mention, you also have to remove the lower coilover bolt. It also uses a 19mm, just like the other 3 arms. Once that's loosened, I'm going to use the hub puller to separate the axle from the hub, and hopefully the whole knuckle comes down so I can have more access to the bolts in the back and use the impact. Alright, so after a while of struggling, I finally got the knuckle off. It's only being held on by the ball joint, so now you can see the 4 bolts that we need to get loose. Alright, with those 4 bolts removed, what I'm going to do is put those arms back, put the coilover back. So all that's left is to hammer out the hub when everything is stationary, so it should just fall right out. Reverse everything and we should be good to go. Alright, after a long day, everything is finally put back together. New pads, rotors, and new hub. Just to recap, I removed the cotter pin, removed the hub nut, removed the caliper and the bracket, put that aside. Took off the rotor, removed these 3 bolts, 1, 2, and 3. Removed the coilover bolt, and that allowed the knuckle to come down so I can impact the 4 hub bolts since they were not budging. Once that was out, I removed the old hub, put on the new hub, and reversed everything. Put the hub back on, started the 4 bolts, reinstalled the 3 arms, reinstalled the coilover bolt, torqued the 4 bolts to spec, torqued the 3 arms and the coilover to spec, put the rotor back on, and then the caliper after with the new pads. Installed the hub nut and torqued it to 200 foot-pounds and then put in a new cotter pin. Now I should be able to put on the new wheel and jack the car down. Here are the results. The tires are 245s by 40. It seems like they're a little too wide. They're rubbing, but not on the fender. They're actually rubbing on the fender liner. When I'm close to full lock, it tends to rub, but I'm gonna see if later on if I could run a smaller aspect ratio. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with how it looks. But yeah, definitely let me know what you guys think of this video. This is my first video, so if I missed anything or if I should have added anything throughout this video, let me know and I'll definitely take that all into account. But nonetheless, I'm done here, so I'm gonna grab a cup of coffee.